So I'll give you an example of this. So a dog folk, really terrified of dogs, come to a behavioral therapist because he knows behavioral therapy can really teach you and cure you from those specific phobias quite quickly. So he comes and he says to the therapist, I have a funny kind of fear of dogs because this little chihuahua, type, I'm not afraid, even though they bark. I don't care, they bark, but they are little, they have little teeth, what can they do to me, right? I'm really afraid of medium to big dogs. Those, I'm terrified. So the therapist knows he has to find a dog, because that's what you do exposure in vivo. And so he goes around, and among his friends, he doesn't have a dog. And he brings back, it wasn't a chihuahua, it was, something else little. And the patients are looking at the dog and looking at the surface and say, didn't I tell you that I'm not afraid of these little dogs? Doesn't mean anybody here, I'm, debating them, not afraid. So was this a good therapy? Was this a good exposure? Yes? No? No. Why not? Why not? No activation of the field structure of that. This one is only afraid of big dogs. It's like sometimes we have a social forum, and we bring 5 psychologists from, and we say, here you have you have an audience, and, give a lecture. So some of them are saying, I'm not afraid of 5 psychologists. My fear is of strangers, right? These psychologists know I'm socially anxious. They're not going to judge me negatively, right? So what happened is that field structure was not activated. So we need to activate, or we take a panic disorder patient with a husband who is a safety person, and we send her to the mall, and she comes back and we said, how was it? It was fantastic, because I'm always okay with my husband. It's without my husband. So we have to make sure that we activate the field structure of that patient. Right? Otherwise, it's not going to work. It's not going to learn anything. And we also know that when there is no activation, when we don't bring the field structure into the working brain, it's not going to change. And we know it from animal models too. But then we know. One thing we know that. And then, so our self is good. And he brings a big dog. And the dog is pretty impressed. And now the patient is coming into the door, and the therapist is holding the dog, by the leash, and it takes half an hour for the patient fear is activated, is shaking, coming gradually. When he's near the dog jumps on him and bites him. Is this a good exposure? Yes? No. Why not? No corrective information. In fact, now the patient says, I always knew they are dangerous. Right? So that's what makes you worse. So we have to make sure that in our therapy, there is no biting dogs. Biting dogs means we don't send a woman at 2 o'clock at night to dangerous, not even to non-dangerous. No, you don't walk at 2 o'clock at night by yourself. So we want to prevent, biting dogs. Another biting dog for people with PTSD is that they will fall apart. So we don't want to make sure that we do the exposure, and we will teach you how to do it in such a way that there will be anxiety and arousal. but not that high that they will lose, feeling that they lose control, because losing control is a binding toxin, and we don't want them to lose control. So it's this kind of titrate, right, that is what we want to teach them. And that's very important